Hi guys, you're welcome back to my channel. If you are new to my channel, you're welcome, and if you're a returning subscriber, thanks for stopping by. On today's tutorial, I'll be teaching you how to cut and sew the beautiful style on my thumbnail. Please make sure you watch till the end, and if you have not subscribed to my channel, please kindly hit the subscribe button and turn on your notification bell for more videos. I have these beautiful Ankara prints that I'll be using for the sake of this tutorial. I made use of 2 yards from this one, and for this one I made use of 1.5 yards. And I also have this zipper that I'll be using for this tutorial. This one is 14 inches by length and this is 30 inches by length. If you are not so tall, use 30 inches length, and if you are a very tall person, use 40 inches. For me, I'll be making use of the white zipper just for the tutorial purposes. Please, when you're buying your zipper, make sure you buy the matching color of your fabric. I'll be cutting front and back together, so I'll be telling you the amount of fabric you need to put on fold in order not to waste your fabric. I'll be using the biggest part of my body measurement to determine the amount of fabric that will be enough for the front and back. My hip is the biggest part and I have 48 inches for my hip measurement. I'll be adding extra 14 inches for all my necessary sewing allowances. Okay, I've gone ahead to cut it out. So I will first of all fold it into 2 equal parts. After folding it into 2, I'll fold it again, leaving my 2 inches zipper allowance. Can you see how I'm folding it? You fold it, I'll turn it now for you to see the zipper allowance. Okay, this is my 2 inches zipper allowance. I will confirm whether the zipper allowance is up to 2 inches. If it's not up to 2 inches, you can adjust it. So I will turn it to the other side now because I want to be marking on the front part. This is my 2 inches zipper allowance. You can notch it. For me, I'll be folding it in the way you see me doing so that you won't get confused. And fold it in. You can use your iron to iron it. So after that, I will trim up this part. After trimming it up, the next thing now is to start marking my vertical measurement. I mark 9 inches for my chest line. Mark 11 inches for my nipple point measurement. I mark 17.5 for my half length. And I mark 27 inches for my hip measurement. I mark 35 inches for my both knee measurement, and the full length of the gown is 42 inches. I added 1.5 inches for hemming allowance. So after that, I will rule my lines out. The next thing is to place my horizontal measurement. I will start with my shoulder width. My shoulder width is 16 inches. If I divide it by 2, I have 8 inches. I will mark it here and I will rule it straight to the chest line. After that, I'll mark my neck width, which is 3.5 inches. And the front neck depth is 3.5 inches also. After marking it down, I will curve the neckline the way you see me doing. So the back neck width is 3.5 while the depth is 1.5. So I've curved it also. After that, I will mark 1 inch for front shoulder slope and ½ inch for back shoulder slope. I will connect it. So I will divide my chest line by 2. I'll get the midpoint. For the front, I'll come in by 0.75, while for the back, I'll come in by 0.5. Before I curve the armhole, I will mark quarter of my round bust measurement. If I divide my bust measurement by 4, I have 10.5 inches. I added ½ inch for ease allowance because I want it to be a little bit free. After that, I'll curve my armhole. I will add 1.5 inches for side seam sewing allowance. I'll also do the same thing on the waistline. I will add 1 inch for that intake, and I added my sewing allowance of 1.5 inch. If I divide my round hip by 4, I have 12 inches. I add ½ inch for ease allowance and 1.5 inches for sewing allowance. On the knee, what I did is that I minus 1 inch from the 12 inches I place on my hip length. So I mark 11 inches on my knee. After that, I roll it straight to the hemline. I'll be cutting the back part first, so I will start with my back neckline. After cutting it, I'll cut my back shoulder slope, my back armhole. I will cut everything out. After cutting it out, I will remove the back part. I'll set it aside so that I can work on the front part. The first thing I did was to unfold my zipper allowance. After unfolding it, I will extend the line for my half length. So the next thing now is to remove the front zipper bulge. So I mark half inch on the waistline and I connect it the way you see me doing. I want the waistline to be well fitted. So after that, we cut off the front neckline. After cutting the front neckline, I will cut the front shoulder slope and the front armhole. After doing that, the next thing I will do now is to rule a straight line to indicate my zipper allowance. So for my zipper allowance, I will mark my nipple to nipple measurement on my half length. This is because I'll be adding a dart on this gown. I want the gown to be well fitted around the waist area. So I will be marking half inch on the both line. For the length of the dart, I will mark 5.5 inches upwards and 5.5 inches downwards, and I will connect it the way you see me doing. I will turn it to the other side and mark the same thing. After doing that, I'll also do the same thing on the back part. So I will notch my zipper allowance. You can fold it in and iron it very well so that you have that line there. So I've turned it to the other side now. I will repeat the same thing I did on the other side of the front. After that, I'll go off camera and repeat the same thing on the back part. If you find my video interesting and you love what I do here, please support my channel by watching the advertisement that is showing on my videos, and also subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Just take your time and mark your dart legs. If you can add your dart without marking this line, you can go ahead and do that. For the yoke, I came in by 3 inches from the armhole side. Whether you are big or you are small, please use 3 inches. And for the depth of the yoke, I mark 10 inches. If you want it to be lower, you can use 14 inches. So from there now, I will curve it. I'll use my free hand now so that you understand. Can you see? It's like you. So after that, I'll be cutting it out. After cutting it out, this is what you will have. Can you see? So I'll be replacing it with this Ankara fabric. I'll be doing that later. For this dress, I won't be adding a waist dart on my lining. So I'll go to my sewing machine and close the dart off. Just hold it and follow the line that you mark and stitch. I'll do the same thing both for the front and back. So I'll go to my sewing machine now and do it and come back and show you. So this is what I have when I was done sewing my dart. Can you see? As you can see, I folded my lining already and I placed my main fabric on it. I'll go ahead now and cut it out. This is what I have when I was done cutting it out. I folded my hemming allowance and ironed it down before I cut my lining. That's to say, I reduced my lining by 1.5 inches. This is my front part. I also did the same thing. For the yoke part, I'll fold my fabric into 2 and I'll place the one I cut out from the main fabric. I'll add my half inch sewing allowance on this side and on this side. I only added my sewing allowance on these 2 sides. So I cut out 4. 2 for the lining and 2 for the main fabric. Can you see what I have? The next thing I will do now is to iron my interface on it. I use soft gum stay to iron on it just to stabilize it. So the next thing now is to add a slit on the front part. You add a little slit so that it can allow you to move freely. So what I will do now is to turn it this way. I will extend my zipper allowance to the hem. After that, I will come up by 5 inch. I want the slit to stop on my above knee measurement. Just fold your hemming allowance. So from the down part of the dress, I will come up by 5 inches. That's on my above knee measurement. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you find my tutorial helpful, and also turn on your notification bell for more videos. So I will trim off some parts, leaving half inch. The half inch I left is what I will use to sew it. Please note that I place my lining and my fabric together. So I'm cutting it on my lining and on my fabric. After cutting it out, the next thing now I'll be doing is to sew my yoke on the main fabric and on my lining. I will be attaching my yoke on the main fabric and on the lining. So I will match it together this way. You use your pin to hold it down. Okay, I will start from here. Just watch closely what I'm doing, you get it right. Make sure you use your pin to pin it round before sewing. I will also do the same thing on the lining part. Can you see what I have? So I'll go and sew it with 1/2 inch now. I'll come back and show you the next thing to do. I've sewn it already. Can you see the one I sew on my lining? I will open up the seam allowance and give it a good ironing. Iron it very well. After ironing it, the next thing I'll be doing now is to turn the fabric with the lining. So I will first of all sew the hem. I'll place it together. I'll sew with 1/2 inch. After sewing it, this is what you have. So I will fold it this way. I'll fold the 1.5 inches hemming allowance I added. Can you see? I'll first of all hold it with my pin. Pin it. After pinning it, you sew with 1/4 inch. Just sew it on the both sides. I'll do the same thing for the back part. This is what I have when I was done. Can you see how I sew it? I will notch the slit part. Notch it this way. I will turn it to the right side now. Make sure you iron it very well. After that, I will now stitch the neckline down. I also do the same thing for the back part. So I've gone ahead to close my front zipper allowance. I want to shape the both sides. So you first of all close the zipper allowance so that you get your accurate body measurement. So I'll place the front and back together the way you see me doing, and I will close it with the sewing allowance I added. I've marked it and I've sewn it. Also join the two shoulders. So I will now open my zipper allowance. So the next thing I'll be doing now is to attach my zipper. So I want my zipper to stop 3 inches below the depth of my front neckline. So I will mark 3 inches here. That's where my zipper will stop. So I've gone ahead to attach my zipper. Can you see what I have? My zipper is open and closed zipper. So I'll turn it to the right side now for you to see what I have. Next thing I'll be showing you now is how I cut my collar. So what I will do now is that I will measure my round neckline. You first of all fold your zipper allowance and you take the round measurement. Whatever you got, you write it down. So I'll be cutting it on my collar stay. You can use any interface of your choice. I've folded it into two. First of all, I will cut my collar stand. So what I will do is that I will divide my round neck by 2. So I will mark it here. And I will mark the length of the collar stand. I use 1.5. I will measure it. My fabric marker is not visible enough. I think I will zoom it. So I will now rule a straight line to connect it. Just follow what I'm doing, you'll get it right. After ruling my lines out this way, the next thing I'll be doing now is to curve this part. I'll curve it so that it won't be sharp. Can you see what I have? The next thing is to cut the main collar. To do that, I will measure what I took for my collar stand. That is 1.5 inches on this folded edge. And from this part where I curve, I will come in by 1 inch. And for the length of the collar, I will mark 2.5 inches. I will rule a straight line. After that, I will connect it. You know, our neck is not straight, it's round, so that's why I'm curving it this way. Curve it. After that, I will measure 1/2 inch from this side and I will slant it. If you have any question, please do let me know on the comment section. Alright, after marking it out, the next thing I'll be doing now is to cut it out. This is what I have when I was done. Can you see? The next thing I'll be doing now is to place it on my fabric and cut it out. I've gone ahead to cut it out. I added my 1/2 inch sewing allowance round. So, and I've also ironed my collar stay on it. Remember I told you that this white thing I have here is my collar stay. So I have ironed it on the main fabric and it have stick together. So I cut 2 for each collar. That's 2 for the collar stand and 2 for the main collar. This part that I'm notching now is the part I'll be attaching with the collar stand. I also notch this part, so this is how I'll be sewing it. Can you see? So the next thing I'll be doing now is to sew it this way. Just close it up. I've sewn it. I'll turn it to the right side now. This is what you will have. You give it a good ironing. You can push this pointy edge with your scissors. After ironing it, I'll stitch it down. I folded ½ inch for one of my collar stand. The part I folded is where I'll be joining on the neckline. So what I will do now is to determine the midpoint of the collar stand, and I will place it this way. Can you see how I place it? I'll turn it. I'll also determine the midpoint of this one. I will align it together. After that, I will sew it this way, ½ inch. This is what I have when I was done. I started my stitching from this part that I folded, as I did for the both side. So I'll turn it now for you to see what I have. This is what I have. I'll also give it a good press. The next thing is to attach it on the neckline. I'll fold my zipper allowance and I will take one of the collar stand, the one that I did not fold. I've stitched it down already. Can you see what I have? I started from the wrong side. So I will push the seam inside and I will top stitch on it. That's the main reason I folded the ½ inch. I will do it off camera and show you. Can you see the neat finishing? That's how you would do it. Can you see what I have? If you want me to do a detailed tutorial on how to cut and sew a collar, you let me know on the comment section. Can you see? So the next thing I'll be showing you now is how I cut the sleeve. You can use any sleeve of your choice. So you first of all measure your round armhole. I've gone ahead to fold my fabric that I'll be using for the sleeve. I will measure down 4 inches for my calf height. On the line where I mark my calf height, I will place half of my round armhole. I will add ½ inch for sewing allowance. I will roll it straight down. I'll be putting elastic on the down part. So the next thing now is to curve my armhole. Can you see the way I curved it? The length of my sleeve is 13 inches and I added 1.5 inches for sewing allowance. So I'll cut it out. After cutting it out, I will go and fold the hem. I created a hole of ½ inch where my elastic will be passing through. The length of my elastic is my round sleeve. I cut it out and I will insert it inside. After inserting it inside, I will close it up and attach my sleeve. I have a detailed tutorial on how to cut and fix a sleeve. It's on my channel. Please do check it out. Thanks for watching. Bye.